Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing to you a project recipe for a collection that was released last year. It's called It's Fall, Y'all. And so if you are familiar with Creative Memories and have been around for a little bit, you may have this in your stash. If you do, pull it out. It's a really fun collection to put all of your fall photos on, and you're gonna love this layout also. It goes together really quick. And so before we get too much into it, let me go ahead and review what I've got on my desktop right here. I have several border maker cartridges and a few punches, individual decorative punches, and the reason is because the one that the project recipe for this collection calls for is this one right here. It's called Diamond Arches, and it is a very pretty punch, but I just wanted to show you that you don't have to, you're not locked into using just the punch that the project recipe recommends. You can oftentimes use an alternate punch, maybe something in your that you've already got in your stash, or maybe you just want to change it up a little bit for a theme and make it work, and it will turn out just as cute. So this is a connected punch, so you'll notice that the blue is what your paper looks like after it's punched. The silver is what's taken away. And so you want, if you're going to replace this with another punch, a different kind, then what you want to do is find another one that is also a connected punch. That connected just means that when you punch it out, it doesn't separate from your main page. And that's what we want here. We don't want something that's going to separate, because we want to cut it to the length that we want it to be. So this is one that was re-released recently. This is the Decorative Arcs punch. So you may have picked this up recently if you have been with CM this year, or if you were part of New CM when we first got going. This was one of the first, I think it was the first punch that was released. You could use this, and it is a similar type of design, but just an alternative again to the Diamond Arches punch. Or if you have this one is the one I think I'm going to use today because it kind of goes along with fall a little bit more. This is kind of a rolling leaf type of a punch, and this came to us from CM Australia and was provided to us in a special not too long ago. And so it is really pretty and very appropriate since it has leaves and we're talking about fall. So I'm going to use this one today just as an alternative to some of these others. But I also wanted to let you know that you can use a border maker also. This one is the anchor design, which probably looks better this way, but it's called Dips and Diamonds, and basically to me it always looks like a ship anchor, but you could use this design, you could use this one. This is our Flourish and Vine design, which just came back out again this month in September. You could use, this is our rainbow design that just came out this summer, which is really fun, and a similar to the design. This one, I don't know the name of it. This is from old CM. You'll notice my cartridge is blue, and so this one I've had for a really long time, but this has arches, and then it has kind of a stitch around the edge of the scallop. And so this one would certainly work and be very cute, and you could pull that out of your tools and use that. Or this is the new Sunshine Arches. Let's see, yeah, Sunshine Arches punch, and this one would also be really cute, I think, to use with this type of project recipe. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is again the It's Fall, Y'all, and you'll notice it has lots of beautiful colors, fall in nature, the purples and the blues and the golds and green, olivey green. So really pretty fall collection. And this is what the project recipe looks like. And so it is relatively quick and easy. I am going to deviate from it just slightly. It has us welding two halves of some pages together. Instead of doing that, I am going to use a base page. And so I've chosen this page from the decorative pages in this collection, and I'm going to use this as my base. It has some really pretty leaves on it, and it's just a beautiful color. It has the plaid on the back, but I just wanted something that was a little bit more background-ish. And so, so we're going to use this as our base today for this design. And I'm just going to set that off to the side. You're also going to need a page of chocolate fudge cardstock or some kind of, you know, dark brown. I'm also using the this kind of wind looking pattern paper and this gold paper, which is also part of the decorative collection or decorative paper pack. And this reminds me of kind of like a I don't know, Native American type of a pattern. And then of course these beautiful and really cool pumpkins we're going to use. All right, so we're going to do some punching and some folding, and we're going to use some borders, and it's just going to be fun. And so I do also have these laser borders, which we're not going to use all three of these, but we're going to choose one and we're going to cut it in half. So bear with me, because again, this is an older collection from last year, and I used it quite a bit, and so I don't have any more of my border stickers, but I do have these, and so I'm going to use these. If you have border stickers from this collection, then you may want to use those. They'll be a whole lot faster and easier to use. But this is just an alternative way of using some of your beautiful laser borders, and we're going to see how it works. All right, so bear with me here. I'm going to set those aside because we won't get to those until towards the end. And right now we're going to use this gold paper, which I have labeled as my tone on tone paper number 2. And if you have the project recipe guide, you can see that tone on tone paper number 2, we are going to punch and then cut. We're going to punch and cut it twice, and we're going to cut it at 1 1/8 inch wide and 12 inches long. So we're going to punch the edge of this, and then we're going to cut it and trim it. I'm going to use this long ways this way because I feel like that makes more sense to me than turning it this way, although actually this is pretty too, but I'm going to do it this way. And if you have not used one of our punches before, let me just briefly explain. On the front, you'll see these 2 dark lines, and those are guides to help get you started. Depending on whether you're going to punch going left to right or you're going to punch going right to left, will determine which one of these marks is important to you. You're going to put the edge of your paper. I'm going to insert my paper into the punch this way and line up my edge of my paper at that mark, either just like this or the opposite way, and putting the right side of my paper on lined up with the right mark. All right, but I generally punch from the left side of my paper to the right side of my paper. So I'm going to line mine up using this left mark right here. The left part of my paper lined up with that mark. Now I'm going to push my paper all the way to the back to this shoulder that's back here that keeps my paper straight, because if I push my paper right up against it, it'll keep my paper nice and straight. I'm going to push my punch down. That's going to punch it once. Then I'm going to slide it along until my punch covers the blue indicated on the wing right here. So when the design that I have punched covers that, then I'm good to go to punch again. Another good clue on some of these that are a little more repetitive, Creative Memories has given us this cute little notch. I don't know if you can see that right there. Let me hold it up and show you. So on the punch, you can see that there's a notch that's cut out right here. And that is to help us line it up, because you see we've got a notch on the punch right here too. So we can line the notch up and know we're in the right place. We can line the design up and know we're in the right place, and we're good to go to punch again. And we just keep on going all the way across. Now this time we're going to punch it all the way across, and then we're going to trim it, and then we're going to punch another one all the way across, so that we have one for each side of our page, of our layout. All right, so here is one, and we're going to grab our trimmer, and we're going to trim this at 1 1/8 inches, which is not the first line after the one, but the next one. Don't go all the way to the next line after the one, because if you do, you'll be punching at 1 1/4. We don't want 1 1/4, we want 1 1/8. All right, so here's my 1 1/8. That's what it looks like. And I'm gonna go back over here to my punch, get rid of my punch confetti, and I'm gonna punch this one more time. If your paper gets hung up inside of your punch, just do your best to gently remove it and put it right back in. Mine was getting hung up there just a tiny bit. Sometimes when there are small pieces of paper, they can sometimes get caught. The key is to be careful and patient so that your paper doesn't rip. And that way you'll be happier, and you will save your paper. Oop. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and get this out of the way, and then we'll trim this, and we'll be on a roll. So again, 1 1/8. So 1 and the first long line before the first grid line after 1, and you should be good there. All right, so here we go, 1 1/8. We've got our 2 punched, then cut designs. Now, to complete cutting this piece, since we already have it here, we're just going to cut this at 4 1/2. So I'm going to switch and start measuring on this side, and I'm going to measure at the 4 1/2 mark, which is right here, and I'm going to cut it, and then we should have another 4 1/2 inches available to us, and we do. Perfect. All right, and then we're going to stack those 2 sheets. We're going to turn it horizontally, and we're going to cut at 5 1/2. 5 1/2 is going to be the very edge of your trimmer. So just scooch your stack all the way to the edge out here, and you'll have 5 1/2 inches. All right, so we have our mats. We're going to set those aside over here. Then we are going to go ahead and grab our brown cardstock, and with our brown cardstock, we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 2 inches wide. So here's 1. And here is 2. All right, so we're going to need both of those. Then we are going to cut a piece that is 6 inches. So I'm going to move my arm out like this. We're going to cut 6 inches this piece is going to be extra. That would have been your welding material if we were welding, but we are not going to be welding because I don't want to weld tonight. I like this purple paper that I'm going to use as a base, so I'm not going to worry about welding. So this is cut at 6 4 inches, and another one at 6 4. These are mats for photos. All right, and then we take our last piece and we turn it, and it's already 4 inches this way. We're going to turn it and we're going to cut it at 3 inches. So we have 2 pieces that are 3 by 4. And those are also mats for photos. So set those aside over here with your mats. All right, then we're going to grab our pumpkin paper, and we're going to use this as our designer paper number 1. It's this green square up here. And we're going to cut this page in half. I had made a quick note on my little sticky note to remind me that I am cutting this with my pumpkins going vertically, not horizontally. And that's important because this border that we're creating on this page of this layout is going to be vertical, not horizontal. So we want half of a sheet. Then what we want to do is grab our scoring blade, and with our scoring blade we are going to score this. Let me just double check and make sure that I know the measurement that we're going to score it at. Let's see. This is not helping me. All right. I should have probably marked it because I'm pretty sure it says on here. Oh, score it at 1.5 inches. All right, so we're going to score it at 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take this blade out. If you don't have a scoring blade, then you can just fold it, but you're going to need to be very careful to make sure that you keep that fold at 1.5 inches. All right, so I'm going to do 2 different directions because I want to be able to fold my paper this way, like so. And I also want to be able to fold it for the other side. So I'm going to measure this piece on this side 1.5 inches and then score it. Also, just another quick note, as you're scoring, be careful not to push too hard, because remember, if you push too hard with your scoring blade, you will cut your paper. And we just want to dent it so it folds nice and neat. We don't want to score it. All right, cut it. And I'm going to take my scoring blade back out and put my cutting blade back in, because otherwise I will think I have my cutting blade in there and not. And I will get frustrated. So if you're like me, just go ahead and take a second and get that taken care of. All right, so now we have all of our pieces cut. We're going to, well, we don't have all of them cut because we are going to be cutting these if you're using your laser borders like I am, but we're not doing that just yet. So go ahead and set those aside. I've got my base pieces here, and I'm going to just divide up my supplies so that I have the right pieces on the right sheets. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to start on this right page first. And what I'm going to do first is go ahead and adhere this brown piece. It goes right along the edge. All right. So we're just going to add some adhesive down the side. And then I'm going to put it right along the edge of my purple. I guess this is purple. It's kind of a burgundy colored paper. So the brown almost matches it. Like it's such a beautiful, rich burgundy color. All right. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere down this piece. So I'm going to put some adhesive along the edge of this, and I'm going to fold it over and adhere it down just like so. All right. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add it to the very edge of my brown cardstock. All right, so I'm going to put adhesive on the back. And I'm going to add this in right on the edge of the brown cardstock. There we go, just like so. Okay, now I'm going to grab my repositionable adhesive. I'm going to put some repositionable adhesive on the back of my beautiful leaves, or whatever punch you decided to use. Now is the time you're going to add it, and I'm going to add my beautiful gold leaves right in front of the folded piece on my pumpkin paper. Okay, so I have all of that. All right, and that is almost all there is to it, although we are going to add something over this seam right here. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and jump over and do the other side. So I'm going to just, again, add adhesive down my brown strip. And put this right along the edge. And I'm going to add adhesive along here on my folded piece. Fold that over and secure it. Flip it over. And we're going to add adhesive all across the back of this. Now again, make sure your pumpkins, if you're using a directional paper, make sure it's going the right direction. And then my folded edge goes right up against my cardstock. And then we're going to adhere this piece. Look at that cute plaid that's on the back of this. I probably could have used that too. Or instead of. That's what's fun about double-sided papers, although if you're like me, you have a hard time making decisions, and choosing one over the other is sometimes hard. Okay, so there we've got that. And now what we need to do is go ahead and decide which one of these lovely borders we're going to use. So we're going to cut it down the center. So just kind of imagine what that would look like. I'm just going to use my extra piece of brown to kind of go like this and get a better idea. So it would look something like that. And the green leaves would be poking out over the brown. Or we could use this orange. Here we go, something like that. Of course, this brown strip won't be there, but you know, something kind of like that. Or we could use this smaller green leaf. One of you that knows a lot about plants probably knows what kind of leaf that is. I'm not sure, but it looked a little bit like a pumpkin leaf to me, so that's why I thought maybe it would be a good one. Or we can flip these over because these are double-sided, and so then now we have a gold leaf on this particular one, which we could use. Kind of do like that. like both sides of that one. This one has purple on the other side, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one because it's harder to see that against the brown. You can see the stitching really well, but you can't really see the leaf as much. So if that is appealing to you, then maybe you do want that. It does look kind of neat. This one is a blue purple that I don't really like. It doesn't really match anything on the pumpkin paper, so I'm not going to go with that for sure. So we've ruled that out. The orange is still a possibility, although I'm kind of leaning towards a different border. I think I'm going to eliminate that one. I do kind of like the purple or the green on this. Let me move this so we get a better sense. And let's just use our other side so we can see both of them at the same time. Which one do we like? We can do the green instead, and just a smaller, kind of less pointy leaf. Or we can do the purple. I don't know. Guys, making decisions is just not my forte. I think I don't like the gold as much as I thought, now that I'm looking at it. I want something a little bit more diverse. I'm thinking maybe the green would be good, but I actually do kind of like the purple, despite the fact that it gets lost a little bit on the brown. I think the stitching kind of saves it. Let's use the purple. Let's go with it, because we do have purple in the rest of our page, so it kind of pulls it across the page, which I like. Okay, so we're going to center this on our trimmer. And the tricky part about doing this is we want to make sure that we are cutting straight through it. And sometimes there's a little bit of a wave. So we're going to just sort of move I'm going to move my trimmer blade up and down, because you can see I have an arrow right here that shows me where it's going to cut. And I just don't want to cut any of my leaves off. So I want to arrange this in a place where I get at least a little bit of each of that stem part. I don't want to ever feel like I'm cutting the leaf off, which is a little bit trickier than I was thinking it would be. Because this curves more than I really thought. So maybe what we'll do is I will just cut it a little at a time and kind of adjust it as I go. I can hear my family upstairs talking about dinner. They're funny. All right, there we go. So I did cut off this top leaf, but I can glue that on. That's just one little bitty leaf. All right, so what I'm gonna do is put this half on here and this half on here. At least that is the idea. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and put my repositionable adhesive in a few places. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and place it right along the edge of the brown. Or you can, if your margin is bigger than mine is, mine's barely there in some places, then what you could do is cover up that seam completely using your border. And that is really the way this project recipe is designed, to cover, to use use a sticker or a border to cover up that seam. But I am not doing that, as you can see. And then this one, this little guy right here, I think was right here at the top. So we'll stick that guy on there. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. And you'll notice this is basically the exact opposite of the other one, the other side. And I'm just being, again, careful to keep the edge right on the edge, right on the seam where my papers are coming together. Okay, I kind of like the subtleness of that purple. It kind of pulls the purple from the center out, which is just what I wanted. All right, so let's put our mats on here where they are designed to go so that we can see how that works. This one's going to go here, and this one's going to go here, right? And then the smaller one is going to go right next to it and overlap a little, so these go closer to the center. Just like that. And then this comes in. All right, and then this one the same. This one comes in to the center a little. So if it's going to bother you that your mats are going a different direction, your design goes a different direction, then just learn from my mistake, because there is that for sure. You're turning them just a little bit, so you do have a little bit of a directionality type of an issue. And then these smaller ones actually go right in here. Now, you can use two smaller photos, one that fits in here and then one that goes right next to it. They would measure 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Both of these would be the same size, and one of the photos is going to end up going off the mat. That's the way the project recipe is designed. Let me show you. See? See how the picture sticks off the mat and goes into this brown border over here on the side? So you can do that, or you can just not put this mat on here and put a photo on that whole mat itself. Or you could turn this one sideways and have an extra thick mat around it if you need be. There's lots of different ideas and things that you can do for this particular project recipe. I'm going to use a mat. I found this cute mat, and I thought it would be cute to trim it into a square and use that in one of these. So I'm just going to trim this so that it is a 4-inch square, and then use it as my journal box on this page. So it will go right in here, just like so, and then I can add some embellishing underneath there. Another good journal box idea is this particular type of journal box with lots of lines that fits right in there and would be framed just perfect. That one I don't think I would use because the lines are going the wrong direction for what I want, but you know. All right, so let's pull out some embellishments and throw together some clusters that will work for our It's Fall Y'all layout. These again are so cute, the acrylic stickers. There's an apple, some leaves, pumpkins. This says boots and scarves, which, yes, this is boots and scarf weather, of course. We've got leaves, we've got fall y'all and sweaters and acorns. Acorns work really good with our upcoming Croptoberfest. Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. That's cool. Kind of like that. Here's some more acorns. That's a cute umbrella. Another pumpkin. I'm leaning towards the pumpkins and the leaves because I have lots of pumpkins in here. Fall breeze, autumn leaves. Apples. Don't think I want thistles in this particular one, but you never know. Some socks, a scarecrow. He's cute. Autumn. Trees. Trees are good. Crisp vibes. Oh my goodness, there's just so much. Look at that tree. That I forgot about that tree. That was cool. And a scarf. I think we're gonna go with mostly the leaves and the pumpkins for now. Maybe we'll use this guy since we've got some other leaves. And maybe a pumpkin or two on top of that leaf. Well, he's not cooperating very well for me. There we go. Like so. And we can add this guy maybe on the other side with maybe a tree. Maybe the green tree. Except we got a green pumpkin. Green tree won't work because we have a green pumpkin. What if we did something kind of like that, but maybe added purple? Maybe not purple. Maybe orange. That leaf is gigantic compared to the pumpkin, so that's kind of my dilemma at the moment. We could put this leaf. We could put this leaf in there, kind of like so. Like that. I'm going to save boots and scarves to go with our boots and scarves, but we could use fall breeze and autumn leaves and maybe add some leaves. The orange and the green. Fall breeze, autumn leaves. How's that? We'll put a purple one right in the middle. I like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere those, and this layout is in the bag. All right. So I'm going to just put my repositionable adhesive on the back of my mats, because as you know, because I don't know for sure that my photos are going to be going this direction, I have a tendency to not really want to adhere them down permanently, but I don't want to lose them, so this helps me keep track of them. until I'm able to decide on photos. And just know that even though I love this repositionable adhesive, it can have repercussions as far as not being able to, I'm sorry, not being able to. It can, when you remove something from it, like if I was to lift this back up, it could leave a little bit of a mark on my designer paper. Sometimes that happens. So you just don't want to add it in anywhere. You want to make sure that wherever you put it, that it's going to get covered up by something else. So you don't have to worry if I should need to take this mat off and adjust it or switch it. So put that pumpkin on there. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive where my pumpkin's going to overlap so that I don't have twice the stickiness. And I'll just stick to that other one. Okay, and then over here we're going to do the same or a similar thing. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my tree. And I'm going to overlap my tree a little bit on that seam. Oh, but you know what? I didn't stick down these mats. So let's stick down the mats really quick so we make sure we know approximately where they're going to go, provided that my photos are going this direction. Okay. And this one I am going to keep this way because I want this journal box and I really like the embellishments that we added to this block. So I am going to go ahead and put this one down, I think, where it's going to go. Oh, where did my other leaf go? There it is. All right. So we're gonna just put these. This one's gonna go a little bit off my mat. Tiny bit. This one. It's gonna go a little bit off my mat in the other direction. Not a lot, but just a little. And then this one is gonna poke up into the mat above it. Okay. Then I'm gonna put some foam squares on my sign, which are going to push down my leaves just a little bit, but that's going to actually be okay. I have all these little pieces from my foam squares everywhere. Did I get them all? No, that one. Okay. So we're going to just stick this guy on top. Okay. And you'll notice I didn't add any foam squares under the leaves in that area, so that could be stuck down. And not have double the foaminess, you know, sticking up twice as high, is what I'm trying to say in my own awkward way. All right, there's that. And we're gonna just flip this guy over so it is approximately where it's gonna go. And now we just need these guys. All right, almost done, promise. Actually, this one I had moved over so we could stick this guy in between. Kind of like he was falling down, like so. All right, there we have It's Fall, y'all. Because guess what? It's fall, y'all. We spent some time in the South, so I feel like I can say that with some kind of, not authority, but, you know, confidence. I hope you like it. This is a really cute design, a really cute layout, and I love the way it goes so well with all of the colors of this collection. Of course, you can use it with any collection that you want, but the It's Fall, Y'all collection is just perfect for fall. Fall is my favorite season, I think, other than Christmas, which isn't really itself a season, but you know, it is kind of. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'm just gonna say thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Thanks so much, y'all. Have a great day.